Hello and welcome to a new lesson, Present Simple Tense. In this lesson, we will talk about structure of present simple tense, examples of present simple tense, and usage of present simple tense. Present simple tense, a structure in the affirmative or positive form of sentence. We have the subjects, verb here with s and es, objects, or we can say other words. So if your subject is he, we use first form of the verb, like drink, and then we add s in the present simple tense and we have the object. Likewise, if you have the she, go, we add es and we have the object. To college, we have it here used for cat, verb eat, we add s and then we have object fish. Likewise, we have singular noun like Tom, like David, like Fatima, like Rani. The first form of the verb, drive, here we add s and then we have object, a car. So in the present simple tense, in the affirmative form, the first rule says if your subject is he, she, it, and singular noun, we add s and es at the end of the verb in the first form, and then we have object. Now let's see the examples. He drinks juice, she goes to college, it for cat, eats fish, Tom drives a car. Continue our discussion. Structure of present simple tense in negative form of sentence. In the negative, we have the subjects, but we add does not or doesn't with first form of the verb, and we have objects or other words. If you have he, we use doesn't, or you can also say does not, but the short form doesn't. And then first form of the verb drink, and we have the object juice. Likewise, she doesn't go to college. It for cat here, doesn't, and the first form of the verb eat fish. Singular noun like Tom, like David, like Fatima, like Rani, doesn't, and the first form of the verb drive, and we have the object, a car. Let's have examples of present simple in negative form. He doesn't drink juice. She doesn't go to college. It for cat doesn't eat fish. Tom doesn't drive a car. We continue our discussion. A structure of present simple tense in interrogative form of sentence, what we call question as well. In the question form of present simple, first we use does in this rule. Then we have subjects, verb in the first form, and we have objects and other words. See how does it construct a sentence? Does comes before the subject he, and then we have first form of the verb drink, and we have object juice. Likewise, does she go to college? Then we have does it here for cat, eat, then we have object fish. Like we have does, we have the subject Tom here at this moment, drive, verb in the first form, and we have object. So what we notice in the question form is that we use does before the subjects, and after the subjects we use verb in the first. Let's have examples of interrogative sentence like does he drink juice? Does she go to college? Does it for cat here eat fish? Does Tom drive a car? We continue to discuss more about interrogative sentence but with question words like why, when, how, where, what, who. So when we start interrogative sentence with such question words, the structure will be like this. Examples: why does he drink juice? So all question words will come before does. Likewise, when does she go to college? How does it for cat eat fish? Where does Tom go by a car? Let's talk about usage of present simple tense. How can we use present simple tense? Number one, it shows habit. For example, he always goes to school. This sentence shows habit, that every day he does the same work. She cooks food every day. It shows habit. Tom usually talks to his friend. It for machine here moves well. So all these sentences show habit, a regular pattern of action every day in the same manner. This is the first use of present simple tense. Now let's talk about usage of present simple tense. And the second point is it shows permanent, universal truth. The truth which you cannot change. The truth which is accepted universally by people, globally by people. How? Let's see examples. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It is a scientific fact. It is a permanent truth. It is universally acknowledged. Therefore, present simple tense. And most of the scientific types of sentences and thoughts are expressed in present simple tense. Mind it. We have another example. The sun gives us light. Universal truth. The moon shines in the night. Permanent truth. Universal truth. Acknowledged by people all over the world. Food provides us energy. So all these sentences show us permanent truth, universal truth. So this is the second usage of present simple tense. We continue our discussion. Usage of present simple tense, and we have third point. It shows future action. Well, we say present simple tense, but it does also convey meaning, convey action in future. When the action is scheduled, when the action is planned. How? Let's see the examples. The final exam starts from next week. Future, because the plan is scheduled. The plane arrives at 3 a.m. tomorrow. About future, not at the moment. So present simple tense may also convey meaning in future. Another example, the train leaves in 10 minutes. Not now, after 10 minutes. Future. And I leave for Panama next week. So sometimes present simple tense may convey meaning in the future tense, in the future time, when an action is planned, when an action is scheduled, when a plan is scheduled. I hope in this brief lesson we understand the first rule of present simple tense. Present simple tense structure in the affirmative or positive form of sentence. In every sentence we have subjects, but in this structure we have the first form of, and then we have objects, or we call it other words. If your subject is I and we use first form of the verb drink, not drinks, and then we have object juice. Likewise, if you have the subject you, we use first form of the verb like go, and then we have to college. Continue, we have the subject they eat fish. If we have plural noun like boys, like girls, like students, people, then we use first form of the verb play, and then we have object tennis. Let's see the examples. I drink juice. We cannot say I drinks juice. That is wrong. Likewise, we eat food. You go to college. They eat fish, and boys play tennis. We continue our discussion about the structure of present simple tense, but in negative form of sentence. We have the subject, but in the negative form of this rule, we use do not or don't plus first form of the verb, and then we have objects, or we call it other words. Likewise, if we have subject I and we use don't and then drink. We cannot say don't drinks. It's wrong. Or we cannot say doesn't drink, because our subject is I or we, and we have the use. Likewise, you don't go to college. They don't eat fish. Plural noun like boys, girls, people, students don't play tennis. See the examples of present simple tense in the negative form. I don't drink juice. We don't eat food. You don't go to college. They don't eat fish. Boys don't play tennis. We continue our discussion. We have now the structure of present simple tense in question or interrogative form of sentence. In the question form, do in this rule comes first or before the subject. We have subjects, then we have first form of the verb, objects or other words. Like for example, do I, or you can use we drink juice. Likewise, do you go to college? Do they eat fish? Do boys play tennis? What is to notice is that in the question form of this structure, we use do before the subject. And of course, first form of the verb is usually used in the negative or interrogative form of present simple tense. We continue our discussion. Now see the examples. Do I drink juice? Do we eat food? Do you go to college? Do they eat fish? Do boys play tennis? Now we continue and move on to the next stage, interrogative sentence, but with question words like why, when, how, where, what, who. See the examples. Why do I help people? When do they finish work? How do you go to college? What do they fight for? Where do boys play tennis? What we notice here is that question words are used before do, and then we have subject. This is very important to notice. We continue our discussion. Now, usage of present simple tense, and the first point is it shows habit. Let's see examples. I get up early in the morning. It's my habit to get up every day in the morning. Likewise, we always go to market. You cook food every day. They usually play with their friends. Robots work well. So what we notice is that all these sentences show habit. The task being repeated every day, again and again. We have the next idea in this direction, usage of present simple tense. And the second point is it shows permanent or universal truth. Truth that is permanent. Facts which are acknowledged by people all over the world. Universally accepted. That is why we call it universal truth. There is no conflict in accepting such facts. How? Look at the examples. Scientists believe in facts. Permanent. It's a universal truth. The rays shine bright. The stars glitter in the night. Clouds give us rain. All these examples refer to permanent or universal truth about facts. Continue our discussion about usage of present simple tense. And third point is it shows future action. How? The final exams start next week. The planes arrive at 3 a.m. tomorrow. The trains leave in 10 minutes. They travel Panama next month. What we notice here is that the structure is in the present simple tense, but the meaning is reflected in future tense. Why? Because an action is planned in advance. In such cases, present simple tense is used to schedule a plan in advance. The affirmative or positive form of sentence, present simple tense, is like this. If we have the subjects like he, she, it, and singular noun, we add first form of the verb, and with this we add s or es. Then we have objects or other words, like we have the examples: he drinks juice, she goes to college, it for cat here, eats fish, and Tom drives a car. Likewise, we put this in the box, rule first, then we have the rule second. If your subjects are like I, we, you, they, and plural noun, then we add just first form of the verb, and we have objects or what we call other words. See the examples: I or we drink juice, you go to college, they eat fish, and boys play games. So this is the first rule of present simple tense in the affirmative, or sometimes we call it positive sentence. We move on to the next stage, put in the box. We move on to the next stage, that is to say negative form of present simple tense. In the negative form, if we have the subjects like he, she, it, and singular noun, then we add with these subjects does not or doesn't, and then we add first form of, and we have objects or other words. Like in the following examples, we can see he doesn't drink juice, she doesn't go to college, it for cat here doesn't eat fish, and Tom doesn't drive a car. And we put this rule in the box. We have another structure, like if we have the subjects I, we, you, they, and plural noun, then we have just do not or don't, and we use first form of the verb, and we have objects or other words. Like in the following examples, we have the sentences like I or we don't drink juice, you don't go to college, they don't eat fish, and boys don't play games. So what we notice is that if your subjects is in the singular form like he, she, it, and singular noun, we use doesn't and the first form of the verb. And if your subjects are in the plural form, we use don't and then first form. We put this rule, of course, in the box. We continue and discuss about interrogative form of simple present. In the interrogative form, first we use does with the following subjects like he, she, it, and singular noun. And then we add first form of the verb, and then we have objects or other words. Like in the following examples, we can see does he drink juice, does she go to college, does it for cat eat fish, and does Tom drive a car. And we put this rule in the box. We have another interrogative form of the sentence, like where to use do with the following subjects like I, we, or you, or they, or plural noun, and then we use first form of the, and we have objects or other words. Like in the following examples, we can see do I, or we can say we drink juice, do you go to college, do they eat fish, do boys play games. We continue our discussion and we put this in the box. We continue our discussion and move on to the next stage of present simple tense in the interrogative form, but with question words. And we have the question words like what, how, when, why, where, and so on. So what happens is that in such cases, question words come first before does, and then we add does. So question words plus does, and then we have subjects like he, she, it, and singular noun. Then we add the same as first form of the verb, objects or other words. Like in the following examples, we can see why does he drink juice? When does she go to college? How does it for cat here eat fish? Where does Tom drive a car? And we put this rule in the box. We have another set of rules with another set of subjects. In the same manner, question words come first, then we add does. And if your subjects are like I, we, or you, or they, or plural noun, we add first form of the verb. Then we have objects or other words. Like in the following examples, we can see why do I or we drink juice? When do you go to college? How do they eat fish? Where do boys play games? So the question words come first. Then we have do or does. And then we have first form of the verb and objects or other words. We continue our discussion. We put this rule in the box. We continue our discussion about usage of present simple. Where can we use? How is it used? Just knowing the rules is not enough. We must know where and how to use the rule in the context, in the situation. Let's see the first rule. Present simple tense shows habit. How? Let's see the examples. He always goes to a school. Habit, going to a school. You cook food every day. Tom usually talks to his friend. These machines work well. They show habit. The task being repeated every day in the same manner. Usually, normally, generally. Now we have the second rule. Present simple tense shows permanent. How? Let's see the examples. Stars glitter in the night. Clouds give us rain. Food provides us energy, and the sun gives us light. All these sentences refer to permanent truth. Sometimes we call universal truth. Truth accepted or acknowledged by people all over the universal. We have the third rule. It shows future action. Sometimes present simple tense gives you meaning in future. How? Let's see the examples. The train leaves in 10 minutes. Not now. After 10 minutes. Future. I travel to Panama next week. Not now. About next week. The final exam starts from next week or next month. Not now. And the planes arrive at 3 a.m. tomorrow. So in all these sentences, what we notice is that the structure is in the present simple tense, but the action is in future. So what happens in this case is that when your plan is scheduled to happen in future, we use present simple. Forming present simple tense with the help of verb to work. We'll talk about affirmative form of present simple tense, negative, interrogative, and interrogative plus question words. Let's see how we proceed. He works. Its negative form is he does not work. Interrogative, does he work? And with question words, why does he work? Likewise, we have she works. She does not work. Does she work? Where does she work? We continue. It works. It does not work. Does it work? How does it work? And singular noun. Tom works. Tom does not work. Does Tom work? When does Tom work? I work. I do not work. Do I work? Why do I work? We work. We do not work. Do we work? Where do we work? We continue. They work. They do not work. Do they work? When do they work? Now we have the plural noun. Men work. Men do not work. Do men work? How do men work? These are 34 structures of present simple tense. You can replace the word work with any other verbs of your choice, and you can make sentences as many as you like. How to write a story through present simple tense with the help of selected images which I have taken. My family calls me Robert. That means I am Robert. I own this house. The house looks beautiful. I live in it. That is my dog. People know him by Finn. He likes sleeping. He usually sleeps under the tree. The sky looks blue. The sun shines bright. I like the green tree. I really like nature. Now let's put together all the images and create a beautiful story. My family calls me Robert. That means I am Robert. I own this house. The house looks beautiful. I live in it. That is my dog. People know him by Finn. He likes sleeping. He usually sleeps under the tree. The sky looks blue. The sun shines bright. I like the green tree. I really like nature. Do you also like and love nature? So in this way, you can also try to conceive and create a story in the present simple tense in the way I have done it for you. Hope you understand the way I have developed this idea. Thank you and goodbye.